If you tell people up front that their name and contact info will be shared with the restaurant, you're going to limit how many respond and how honest they are. Some people just won't feel comfortable with that. Welcome, everyone, to another episode of So You Want My Feedback, part of the Feedback Matters YouTube channel and podcast. Rich, welcome again to another episode. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Jeff. Thank you. How about yourself?
I'm doing well, thanks. So today we're going to do one of your surveys again. So for those of you who haven't been here before, this series, So You Want My Feedback, is about going through in real time, live, surveys that we get as part of our daily lives. We record them live and we kind of review the feedback process that the businesses are using. And so today we're going to do a hospitality industry survey, specifically a restaurant survey that I think you went to a nice restaurant a week or so ago, I guess it was.
Just about a week tomorrow. Yeah, it's a week ago.
Okay. So ground rules, in addition to doing this live as it happened and recording it, we also will read everything that comes across the screen because this is an audio podcast in addition to video. So it will be only useful to those listening if they know what we're talking about. So that's why we'll read it all. And we will not call out the name of the restaurant. We will not call out the name of the survey platform, if in fact that's what they're using to collect feedback, because it's not about identifying who's doing what. It's more about identifying specific mechanics of collecting feedback, of communicating with guests after a visit and collecting their feedback in the best way possible. So we'll start by showing my screen or sharing my screen. Hang on one sec. Okay, so this is the email that you received. Was it the day after you dined there or 2 days after, something like that?
Yeah, it was an appropriate time,
Okay.
right after we dined.
Okay, so interestingly, this is not coming from the restaurant itself. It's coming from the reservations platform. It's one of the popular dining reservations platforms that's out there. In fact, I believe we've done a review of another one of their surveys in the past. I don't recall how long ago, and we'll see if we notice any differences in this one. So anyway, up here's the logo. You can see where the logo of the platform is, and then it says, "Hi, Richard. Thank you for dining at," name of the restaurant, on date that you were there. "As a valued guest, your feedback about this experience is important to us and will help us continue to improve. Your contact information, including your name and an email address, along with your feedback, will be shared with the name of the restaurant in order to provide you with a better dining experience. If you agree to sharing this information with the name of the restaurant, please answer this question. How likely are you to recommend the name of the restaurant to others?" And then there are 5 grayed out stars. And under the first star is the label "not likely." And under the 5th star is the label "very likely." Below that, it says, "We appreciate your feedback and hope to see you again soon. Sincerely," and then the name of the restaurant.
Okay. Uh,
Thoughts?
well, let me start at the bottom first. I was interested to see how the letter would be closed because the owner and operator of this restaurant is a very well-known woman. She has a strong following. She's written books. She's been on TV shows. And I was curious to see whether her name would be here. I'm actually quite surprised that it's not because of her, popularity in the industry. That said, it's not the end of the world, but I expected it to be there.
Because her personality, or
Because of
her,
her, she's a very strong personality. She knows.
she's a prominent chef, I assume.
Yeah,
So,
she's a prominent chef. She's an author of cookbooks. She's very visible in the restaurant. She
right.
makes her presence known. She's
Okay. So
involved in the serving and all that stuff. So I was just surprised that I would expect that the name would be there.
I would say that that possibly could be a limitation of the platform. It doesn't allow that.
Yep.
When you sign up for this service, that's all they offer you, maybe. I mean,
Yep.
I'm sure if you,
I
I
mean,
don't
they're
know this
putting
for
the
sure.
name of the restaurant there. They can put a person's name. I'm sure they have the bandwidth to do that.
Some way they could do that. Yeah, I guess that's interesting. Okay. Anything
The
else?
other, yeah, the other comment, I'm not crazy about the terminology they're using, that my contact information, including my name and email address, along with my feedback, will be shared with the restaurant in order to provide you with a better dining experience. I don't know how my name and email is going to provide me with a better dining experience. Certainly
Very
the
fair.
feedback will, but my name and email shouldn't. I just don't like the construction of that sentence. You?
I agree. I
Yeah.
completely agree. There's no reason for that. I think that, and we've covered this before in other surveys. I don't recall specifically where, but why are you leading with that information? You're not giving the person the option to provide feedback anonymously, and it might constrain them.
Absolutely.
It might deter people from doing it at all, A, and B, maybe not being as honest as
And it
possible. So
not
what
being
is the
right.
point?
It's going to
You,
limit their what they may want to share with you.
I agree. I completely agree.
And
So
then secondary to what you said, it seems that the agreement or approval to do that is to answer the question. Typically, it's a separate box. Do you want your information shared or do you not want your information shared? And then continue with the survey.
no, there's no option here. You just
Yeah,
if you answer, it's going. And
yeah,
as I said, we saw this before. It's not even the survey yet. It's the invitation to take the survey. It's just telling you that if you answer any questions on the survey, we're sending everything to them with all your contact information.
right. That's not good.
Not ideal. I don't
Nope.
think it's ideal. All right, and then there's one question here. And the way it's framed beyond what we just said is that if you agree to sharing this information, please answer this question. So I is there only one question? Once we answer this, are we done? I don't know.
Well, we'll find out in a second.
We will, but
We've talked
what?
about the recommend questions so many times.
All right, go for it. Let's do it quickly. We have
Well,
to.
you're
It
going to
is.
recommend it or you're not. I mean, that's first, right?
What would change? You already ate there. What would change? Like if I said to you, would you recommend it? And what would make you decide whether you would or wouldn't? If how I ask you, you're gonna either recommend it or not, right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like, we've said it many, many times, and it doesn't make sense. It's just not the way
No,
the question should be structured. But I will say to move forward that I very likely will recommend this restaurant.
right. And the one other thing we mentioned here that this is a 5-point scale of likelihood, whereas typically this is the net promoter score question. Typically, in a true net promoter score setting or format, it would be a 0 to 10 point
Yeah.
scale
It's
where,
an interesting
uh,
point because it's definitely a net promoter question.
but not the scale. All right, so we're going to say very likely. Let's see what happens. Okay, so hang on one sec. It opened in another browser window, this page. So again, let me read through everything. The logo of the platform, how was, name of the restaurant. We appreciate feedback about your experience. And then it captured what we did on the email. It repeats the question for you. How likely are you to recommend name the restaurant to others? And it shows what we did. It shows the 5-star rating that we gave it. And then the next question is what's driving your review? And that's optional. And then the choices are food service, vibe, and other. And maybe there's more options once we get there. And let me just scroll down real quickly.
That's it. Well,
And then below that, it says anything else optional. We'll share your feedback and contact info with the name of the restaurant. And then there's a text box that you can type in, share your experience, or offer suggestions to the staff. And then the button to submit the review. Okay, I got thoughts. What you go first, though?
okay. I found this to be awkward when you first showed us this follow-up page because being in the business and we kind of figured it out immediately, but I'm not sure the average person wouldn't get confused or like, wait a minute, I just answered this question. And I know that the 5 stars are colored and filled in to represent that I picked the 5 star option, the highest option, but that may not be so clear to everybody who's answering the survey. Do you think I'm looking into something that's not a valid point?
I don't know. It didn't occur to me actually, but I
I mean, it's the
don't
same exact
necessarily just
question.
it
It's
is, but before they were grayed out. I wonder, can I
yeah.
change it? Yeah, you can change it. That's interesting. But to your point, it wouldn't be bad for them to mention that this is what you answered, but you can change it, right?
But do you want the ability to have the respondent change his answer?
Why not? You could change your mind. It's only one question. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't have a problem with that. All right, let's move on.
Okay.
Next question. What's driving your review? This is all optional after this. I mean, it's
Me,
all optional. You don't have to do it, but go ahead.
yeah, yeah. But we see already that it's not going to take us, they're not going to give us any follow-up questions based on what I decide here.
Well, the only other thing here is if I click other, what happens? Nothing. It's just other, and there's no
They don't
additional
give you a chance
information.
to explain what the other is.
Well, you can do it down here in the text box, but
Yeah,
not up here. I thought there might be. But
yeah, typically.
anything else with this question?
What's driving a review? Optional, food service, vibe, and other. I think I'm okay with it. I mean, you could come up with more detailed answer options, but I don't know. What do you think?
I'm curious about the word review. When did they tell me I'm writing a review or tell you you're writing a review? This
Oh,
is the
good
first
point.
mention of the word review, isn't it?
Good point. Good
The
point.
question they asked you before is how likely are you to recommend? But if you go back to the email, hang on, there's no mention of the word review anywhere in the email. All of a sudden, you're writing a review.
Yeah, so they're considering my selection of 5 stars as a review.
And I was just answering a question about how likely you are to recommend, whether that's an appropriate way to frame that question or not. It's not a review. But apparently it is a review now.
No, good point. Good point. So put
Anyway,
down the main thing that everything is really good. The vibe I know is great. I love the vibe. It's a great atmosphere, fun, food's good, service. It's a very popular restaurant. It's usually fairly crowded, but that's the vibe. It's like a popular hangout place vibe.
does it affect the service?
It does. That's why I'm debating whether to the staff is very, very friendly. They cooperate with you if you want to make a change on the menu or things like that. But sometimes it's hard to get their attention. And maybe that would be solved with an extra hand or two that they don't want to
So,
be.
I mean, it's hard to capture that out of these four options.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
by leaving service out, maybe that's saying something to them.
That's exactly right.
And
Yeah,
and
I don't
clicking other doesn't really give them any more information
know.
other than you would have to do it in this anything else section
Yeah.
with
I
them.
mean, I don't want to get into it now, but the proper thing to do would be to leave service unchecked and then write in the box, the service could be improved, especially on crowded nights or things like that.
Okay. So that's the option here.
If they're going to have this structure on this page, they should, especially have under the other, put the comment in the comment box. Because what does other mean? If I don't put any verbatim comments, the other is irrelevant.
I agree. They have to guess what the other is.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I am going to recommend that we don't submit this right now.
Okay.
We might do it afterwards. And the reason is we know that we're submitting it. And again, interestingly, it says submit review. So again, like I mentioned before, all of a sudden we went from answering a question about recommendation to a review. So
Yeah.
they are considering it a review.
That's fine. That's fine.
So all in all, it's okay. It's a very nice, clean layout. The idea that they're saying up front that if you submit feedback to them, they're sharing your personal information with the restaurant and tying it to the feedback will limit for sure the number of people who submit feedback if they read it, if they read those that wording, and it's not necessary, and it might suppress true feelings because people might be afraid to,
Yep.
especially in a local restaurant. You mentioned that this is a local restaurant where the owner is present. Some people might not feel comfortable sharing that. They might want to tell the person, they might want to suggest something that they could do better, but they wouldn't tell it to them to their
Right.
face,
They
right?
don't want to be identified as the
Correct.
person stating that.
There's
Yeah.
and there's no reason to. What's the value of that?
Right.
Why would you do that? I don't know. Anyway, But overall, the platform is a great platform. It has enabled restaurants to simplify their processes. And it's, as we always say, it's great to get feedback. So anything they're doing to get feedback
Correct.
is good, but you can always do better, right?
Could be better.
All right.
Overall,
So,
yeah, overall good.
okay. So I think that'll wrap it up. Thanks everyone for watching or listening to another episode of Feedback Matters and our So You Want My Feedback series. Rich, as always, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure. I appreciate it. Enjoyed
And
it.
we'll be back soon with another episode. Take care, everyone.
Good night.